Welcome to Kiss the Reviews. I'm Armando, that's Corey, and today we're doing 2006's The Breakup. And before we get started, if you want to reach out and follow me or Corey on Twitter, you can follow me at Junior D's. You can follow Corey at Corey_idol. And let's jump right into this sucker and let's get into the cast of 2006's The Breakup. This film stars Vince Vaughn as Gary Grobowski, Jennifer Aniston as Brooke Meyers, Jon Favreau as Johnny O, Joey Lauren Adams as Addie, Cole Hauser as Lupus Grobowski, Jason Bateman as Riggleman, and Vincent D'Onofrio as Dennis Grobowski.
Dude, do you know how unwanted of a kid you have to be named Lupus?
I'll go through the cast before we do these movies, and I'll take a look at, this character's this character's this. So when I'm doing my notes, I can refer to them as their character's name.
Yes.
Which I break from all the time, but whatever. And I saw that his name was Lupus, and I was like, these bitches named him Lupus?
Lupus. And they should have really named him Herpy. Or Gentle the Wart, one of the two, because he's got something. He's nasty as fuck.
He absolutely has lumps on his penis, for sure.
Hell yes.
So let's jump right into this. So this movie opens with Gary and his buddy Johnny O. They're at a baseball game, and Gary sees Brooke in his row, and he immediately starts in. Gary is this obnoxious but charming guy. Everybody has this friend where he's super obnoxious. Yes, that is you, Corey. I'm talking about you. But he's as obnoxious as he is. You're like, God, the dude's just got something, and you want to talk to him. So they end up talking, and Vince Vaughn makes fun of the dude she's with. They end up hanging out, and then in turn dating.
Here's a tip, really, for all you moviegoers out there. What helps get you into the mode of a movie is to empathize with the character or put yourself into their position, which I often try and do. I at least find one of the characters where I could be like, oh, that would be me. That would be this person I know. 9 times out of 10, when I'm doing this for this job, I try and find characters for Armando and I. Never before has a movie opened. The first 2 lines have been spoken by each character, and I went, oh, that's totally me and Armando, because I would be the guy hitting on the girl with the hipster douchebag boyfriend or frat boy boyfriend with his collar popped, and Armando would be like, don't worry about it, I'll smack him.
You have a problem with me eating the hot dog guy? I'm trying to watch the game have a hot dog.
I'll smack him in his head.
Wrong.
Just sitting there complaining about this guy sitting next to me like he's on the toilet seat, which, by the way, Jon Favreau owns this role.
He's amazing in this role.
So good.
It's perfect for him. And I got a quick don't do that.
Don't do that, it's not good for you.
Hi, hipster douchebags out there. Just a quick thing. You're going to a baseball game, a football game. I'm not saying you got to wear the work shirt of the guy that's on the field. You don't have to do that to be, accepted. But what you don't want to do, that popped collar tucked into your plaid shorts or pants or whatever, that's not a good look, bro. Leave that shit at home. Save that for all you curly mustachioed friends that you have back at home. Wear that around them. Don't take that to the ballpark, because Johnny O or somebody like him will beat your ass. It's just not a good look.
Yeah, no, even if you're trying to protect yourself from melanoma, just wear sunscreen. It's not worth the popped collar look. Ever.
No, that's not a thing. Gary and Brooke here, they start dating. They eventually buy a condo together. Gary works as a super entertaining Chicago tour guide in his family-owned business with his brothers. And we also see that Brooke manages an art gallery owned by an artist, Marilyn Dean, played by Judy Davis. And she is apparently in this scene showing Tom Brady some art pieces.
Dude, I really thought this was Tom Brady. I was like, yo, is that fucking Tom Brady? He looked like Tom Brady did around that age. It's
Yes.
crazy.
Yes.
And Gary is literally working the only job he could possibly be qualified for.
He's qualified for 2 jobs: stand-up comedian or Chicago tour bus driver.
Yeah.
Guide.
He's basically the Chicago equivalent of a guy that can either be a writer or co-host a YouTube show.
Yes.
But that's it.
Dude, and Judy Davis, the lady who plays Marilyn in this movie, she crushes this role. Just
absolutely.
And she's just peppered throughout the movie, and she just does a job in every single she steals every scene. Her and Justin Long fight to steal every scene that they're in.
Yeah, Justin Long was another one. See, I have not seen this movie in so long, and here's my outlook on this movie changed almost, a complete 180 on how I viewed this movie, because this is the first time I had seen it where I was not in a dysfunctional relationship.
That'll change your outlook on this film for sure.
This, to me, used to be a fucking horror movie. Like, I'll watch Texas Chainsaw, High Tension, Halloween, fucking bring them on. You throw the breakup at me, I'm hiding underneath the bed, terrified.
Absolutely.
Now, I was like, oh, comedy, hyperbole, that's fun. I understand things now.
You're goddamn right.
It was a really dark kind of comedy being played out between Jennifer Aniston and Vince Vaughn. And Vince Vaughn and Marilyn Dean were such a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
It was basically like, you're on the ride now. The autopilot set, just don't fucking fall out.
Yeah.
And they not only didn't fall out, they were like, no, bitch, I'm going to show you how to fly this. Hold my beer. And they
absolutely
crushed it.
That evening, Brooke is then preparing for a family dinner for both her and Gary's families. And her and Gary get into this fight about Gary not getting enough lemons and not helping set the table and not doing really anything to help. He just gets home from work and he's like, dude, I just want to chill out. I want to watch first of all, if you're this isn't a don't do that, but if you're dating somebody who's just like, I'm addicted to watching the Cubs play, just break up with that person. There's 162 games for baseball. You can miss one. You can miss several innings. You can miss several weeks of the season and be caught up pretty goddamn quickly.
Yeah, I don't want to hear anybody saying in baseball before October, no, I have to watch this game. Because no, you don't.
Yes.
Believe me, you don't have 4 hours to spend watching this game.
You're right. It's fact.
This whole movie, basically from here on out, between every interaction between Gary and Brooke is a PSA. So I'm
100%.
I'm going to do this just to be kosher and everybody gets it. It's not because I hate the movie. I'm just doing this because it only needs to be done one time.
Corey's Life Lessons.
Hi, kids. Uncle Corey here. If you ever want to be in a relationship or, healthily break up and detach yourself from another human being that you've spent a lot of time with, do the exact opposite of everything Brooke and Gary do from lemon argument forward. End of PSAs for the show.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them.
I got a couple of don't do that's, one coming up right here. But let's get to the scene first, shall we? So we get to the dinner scene, and it is amazingly awkward, funny, and infuriating.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, and again, we have a don't do that coming up. But before we get to that, John Michael Higgins and Vince Vaughn in this dinner scene are absolutely incredible.
Move yourself. You always live your life, never thinking of the future.
John Michael Higgins, I like him in everything he's in. Like, I've seen him in interviews, like, as a real person. He's kind of a weird dude, but you almost kind of have to be to play some of the characters that he plays.
Yes.
But he hits every mark, like, at 100 miles an hour. And he doesn't let up. And Vince Vaughn sitting back as he's singing right in his face, and the looks that Vince Vaughn is giving, they're fucking priceless.
Totally agree. I found out during that scene that when something surprises me, like when he literally turns and starts singing immediately like that after he's got everybody doing the drums and everything else, I have discovered now in my age that I surprise laugh like my mother. I go, oh!
I'm glad that you surprise laugh like an old white woman.
Yeah, I don't get it. Who told you my mom was a white woman?
Ooh-ah.
I just found this out this weekend. So thanks, everyone. Appreciate that.
But I do have a don't do that for this whole dinner, and this will really help everybody out.
Don't do that, it's not good for you.
Hi, literally everybody, especially at family dinners, where there's especially two families getting together, who it looks like they haven't really hung out ever at this point. First, don't argue. Don't argue about it. Somebody brings up politics, somebody brings up religion, somebody brings up a topic you don't want to discuss. Just remove yourself from the situation. Shut that shit down. There's no need for it. But also, don't use and don't ask questions to set up a path for you to talk about your own shit, which is what John Michael Higgins does here at the dinner table. He's asking Vince Vaughn's brother about their business, so he's like, oh, you have a passion. You know what I have a passion for? Dude, fuck you and your goddamn questions that just turn it around to be all about you. Don't do that at all. No matter how funny it may be, do not do any of that. So after dinner, after everyone leaves, Gary immediately starts playing Grand Theft Auto. Brooke wants to clean the dishes. Gary doesn't want to help doing anything. And this is when the real fight begins. Brooke feels underappreciated and tells Gary that he's immature, he's unwilling to work on the relationship. Gary, on the other hand, lets her know that her constant nagging is driving him crazy and that he just wants to chill out. And this, folks, is what not actually communicating gets you. It gets you this big argument. It's not about the fucking lemons. It's not about wanting to clean. Like, and I know this is like, guys think this way and girls have hidden agendas and they hide things. No, listen, these are people. The conversation they have at the end of this movie, had it happened here. This movie is brilliantly hilarious and is 45 minutes long.
You were right.
This is what I like about it, because it is very easy to be like, yes. You know, like if Brooke would have just came out and said, you do not appreciate, this is what I do, everything she says to him at the end of the movie. One, I don't think he would have heard it then, because I agree with her.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have mattered. However, you would have saved a lot of time and headaches. And it's not a PSA in any way, because I already said, you know, there was one. However, trying to send a message here through a breakup, which is where Brooke goes next, is so not healthy. Like, it's not even like a, don't do that. Ha, 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 ha. Yeah. It's not healthy. Like, mentally, that's not okay. If you can't communicate with that person without having to break up with them every time you need them to change an aspect of their character that they just don't see or are unwilling to change otherwise, you shouldn't be in that fucking relationship to begin with.
Absolutely.
It's insane.
Yeah, don't use breaking up as a threat. When you do it, mean it and get the fuck out.
Exactly. And this is where I became incredibly frustrated with this movie too, because I empathize with both of them completely.
Absolutely.
I have been Brooke, where you just don't appreciate a motherfucking thing I'm trying to do around this house. And I've been Gary, where I don't want to hear it.
Yep. No,
Like,
and
it's the wrong day. You know
that
what
goes
I mean? Like,
back to
tomorrow might be different, but
yeah.
yeah.
That goes back to the writing. I think this was written really well. And both, like, you get to identify with both people. And it's
Yes.
not just a man versus woman thing. It's you identify with different aspects of how, not only how they argue and fight, but how they're feeling throughout this entire fucking thing. So Brooke breaks up with Gary here, and they go to their friends to discuss the problems that they're having with each other, you know, instead of talking to each other. So Brooke goes to Addie, Gary goes to Johnny O, and literally the next day, Brooke comes home from work and finds Gary and his friends shooting pool on the new billiards table that he bought. And it escalates even more from here. And then we get to the couple's bowling night, and Brooke kicks him off the team. This scene is brilliant. It's hilarious. It's infuriating. And the capper of Vince Vaughn taking off his shirt to give back. And he's like, that wrist guard, that's mine. You give that back now too. Like, it's gotten so petty at this point that like the whole thing, and Vince Vaughn plays petty. Like, he takes it to another level. It's so good.
Yeah. It's fantastic. And it's hard to do a scene like that and be so serious and be that funny. Like, it's really, really difficult to not turn it into a, silliness, because there is no silliness there.
Yeah.
Because we've all been in that situation. That's like Venom. All those new friends she set me up with Stepford wives, like she wanted to be.
Yeah.
I lost all of them when she decided to fuck a Pepsi guy. So, like, I totally was with Gary right here. I'm just like, dude, I get it. I've been kicked out of the bowling league, and it fucking sucks.
We then get the scene where his younger brother, Lupus, takes him to the club to try to get him laid. Gary leaves because he can't stand the whole club scene. And by the way, his brother's about to be brought up on charges for freaking roofing somebody or some sort of sexual assault or something.
Dude, this man literally told a woman that not only did he want to sleep with her, but he wanted to wrap her up in plastic and cut 2 holes in it, one of which was for her to breathe.
I'm going to cut out 2 holes, one for your mouth so you can breathe, obviously, and the other one...
Asshole.
Could be a gorgeous evening for us, babe.
This is like, dude, are you Dexter? Yeah. Was this your audition tape for Dexter, Cole Hauser? What was this?
So my favorite line in this, because this whole... It's funny and gross, and just like, it's all of these emotions all at the same time. But the funniest line in this whole scene is...
You're my brother, and I love you very much. And maybe you do get laid tonight, but maybe you get arrested.
Arrested for what, babe? Being awesome?
It's literally if you just took that snapshot of who he is, of who Lupus is, like, that's the snapshot right there. What am I getting arrested for? Being fucking awesome? Like, I'm the tits. Like, he's that guy.
Oh yeah, he does it. There's not a thing wrong with what he's doing. And here's the only thing I will say about Lupus is, while it is not my bag, literally, I have no plastic I want to wrap anyone in, but at least he's getting consent.
Gary then goes home. Him and Brooke get into another fight about sharing the condo. He passes out, and the next morning, Gary wakes up to the Tone Rangers practicing in Brooke's room. When he yells at Richard, Brooke's brother, Richard beats his ass, takes him to the ground like MMA style, and puts his foot on Gary's throat here.
This is once again when I laughed like Kathy.
It's, again, he is so funny. And the two of these guys together, like, these 2 scenes that they shared are just, they're both like, they're brilliant. They're masterpieces in comedy.
Oh, they are. I want to know, because they were quick edits and you saw like a lot of foot and hands and stuff. I want to know how that stunt really went down and how far those 2 took that stunt.
Yeah.
Because I would love to see if they could actually have done that in real life.
Hell yes.
No, but Vince Vaughn is a big dude. Like, that's That's a lot of flesh to be thrown around.
Oh, next time I see it, we'll go to a bar. I'll pick out the biggest son bitch in there. I'll teach you how to throw them around.
And then you'll point at me and be like, he's got a problem with you.
He did it.
So then we get to game night with their friends. It's awkward from the moment everyone gets there. And then we get to the game of Pictionary and they blow up at each other over Brooke's drawing of a sock and or a shoe or whatever. And I don't know about you, but I've been in these situations and I don't remember ever being the couple. Cause like I always, I did the whole like, if we're going to argue at home.
Mm-hmm.
But like when we're out, not because we shouldn't, just it makes everybody else's night shit. So just don't.
Right.
And if we do, then like I'm bringing you away from said party. But like I've been around these people and it's awful. Like you just don't know what to do. Like you kind of want to dip out, go into the kitchen and go get a drink or to do something other than sit here and watch these two fucking argue.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I'm on both of their sides here because I've been Brooke. I mean, literally the last time we played Pictionary, I was Brooke to your Gary because I can't draw for shit. And then I was Gary when I attacked your son for getting too easy of questions in Pictionary.
A 3-year-old with a box of crayons can do a better job than this.
You're not doing
Everyone
anything
said
right.
shoot.
Yeah, I could really relate here. I thought this was all too realistic. It brought back some bad memories.
After game night, Riggleman sits them down, convinces them to let him put their condo on the market so they could split the proceeds and each go their separate ways.
And this was classic Jason Bateman.
Oh, yeah. Jason Bateman is perfect here.
Yep.
Like, again, he's just got that tone and he hits those beats just the way that only he can, which again takes this very uncomfortable scene and makes it hilarious.
Yeah, I wish it's interesting you bring that up too, because I don't know if anybody else has seen it, but there are some other channels here on YouTube that take rap songs and they take the lyrics and they showcase every kind of flow change that the rapper is doing. I wish there was a way to do that with comedians to show people wanting to learn comedy where you hit those high notes, because Bateman does it here throughout this whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's so great.
This is a situation where I would just as soon not take a commission. I was just, I'm saying in theory, in this situation, because we're friends, I wish I could waive it. No can do, though.
It was exceptional, classic Jason Bateman.
Absolutely.
Like, if you wanted to showcase Jason Bateman for one scene, that would be it.
So Marilyn, Brooke's boss, then tells Brooke to go get waxed, show Gary, while also making him jealous by going out on a date that night and having the guy pick her up at their place. And Gary does get jealous a little bit just because it's a guy coming over to pick up his now ex-girlfriend. But he doesn't really show it. Gary, and this is how I identify with Gary. He's not going to show you he's angry or uncomfortable or awkward or jealous, anything along those lines. He's going to mask everything in humor.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's who he is. That's what he's done his whole life. And that's what he's going to continue to do. Because again, to Gary, this is a game. This is no longer a breakup. At the beginning, it's like, holy shit, she broke up with me. Now, he's in game 7 mode. You can't let him see you sweat. So he's going to joke and, make a pun out of everything moving forward just so that she doesn't know that he's jealous or angry or anything.
And this is weird, too. There's a couple questions I have. One, if you're Brooke, why did you think bringing that guy over when your ex-boyfriend looks like Vince Vaughn was going to make anybody jealous, wax beef or not? It doesn't matter.
Listen, don't bring
It doesn't matter how waxed your beaver is. That fucking chud is not making anybody goddamn jealous. It ain't happening.
No, don't bring the tummy sticks guy over to your house for a date. Don't do that.
Yeah, no. Love the guy, but he's not making Vince Vaughn jealous as shit.
Yes.
Okay? And now, this is where I got really confused. Because it's like, all right, we're getting petty, we're into the breakup. But she still kind of wants to be together.
Yes.
Her goal has not changed. She's still trying just to get him to say, I relent, you win.
Yes.
And he's trying to get her basically to do the same.
Yes.
He doesn't really want her to leave. He just wants her to, shape up and get in the fucking kitchen.
Is it possible this story is true? Yes, it is.
I would ask both of them here, like, what really is your end game here? Like, do you really just want her in a fucking, goddamn apron 24/7, pregnant?
Well,
and
because
barefoot?
he does make a comment on the first fight. I think it's when they're talking about, it was right after the dinner where they're arguing, and he was like, well, hopefully, we'll grow the business to where you don't have to work anymore. She's like, I don't want to fucking work. And I was like,
right.
This is 2006. Like, this isn't like 1942 where it's like a one income family can make it. Listen, you live in fucking downtown Chicago. There's no such thing as a one income family unless you're loaded in downtown Chicago.
Yeah, that's how little money is she making at that place where all you have to do is get a boat for your company and you immediately can afford that condo by yourself.
Yeah.
Because the whole problem is you need all of her money to afford that condo.
Yep.
So yeah, there's all kinds of faults in his plans, and take your 1950s fucking Polish fucking Midwestern bullshit morals out the fuck.
He does have a great line here that I'm not going to say I have or have not used before.
Oh no.
But when he gets his ass kicked by Brooke's brother, and he's got the ice pack on his neck, and she's basically laughing at him because he got his ass kicked. And he's like, oh, you want to play that game?
We're talking about Polacks that don't have a goddamn future.
Right.
That's right. We can make shit real uncomfortable around here. That's what we're gonna do.
You just take out that word and put in, Italians or Dagos or whatever into that sentence. And I've absolutely said that before.
You're goddamn right.
The horror show it must be to date you.
It really is. I am a hard person to live with.
Just sweaty and threatening everybody all the time.
So everything's oily. It's a mess. It's just a goddamn mess.
All your friends look like Ichabod Crane.
So soon thereafter, Brooke has another date with a better looking dude. And while Brooke has him wait, Gary and her date start to play Madden. And again, Gary doesn't show that he's jealous, but this time he's literally burning up inside. But
the second she says they're going to go get martinis.
Yes.
Because he thinks he's won the day. And really, he has. Because this dude, this guy just found out he's gay for Gary the same way I'm gay for Antonio Banderas in Desperado.
And this scene between those two, playing the games, and Vince Vaughn.
Am I talented? Tell me how you felt about what just happened there. I can't take credit for it, Mike. I gotta thank these little digital guys with the big hearts.
If you ever want to identify where improv scenes are most likely in a movie, it's when they're doing these quick cuts like this. Yeah. Where it's just one-liner, 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 one-liner. That is 99% of the time where you're going to find improvs in most of your comedies.
Yeah, absolutely. Brooke and her date then leave. Gary calls his brother Lupus and has him pick up some hooas and bring them back to the condo from some strip poker. And
now, I've played strip poker before, and I've played some strip poker with some ladies that were, let's just say they belong to the streets. And never once have they ever just immediately taken their shirt off and thrown it in firsthand. Like, you showed up, right? Like, why are we even playing poker if that's what you're showing up to do? Let's just get the fucking party started. That's where I'd be at. I don't want to waste my time playing poker. What is this, foreplay?
Hoo-ah!
I'm sure my brother Lupus paid you well. Let's get to work, okay? Because them were some hookers. I'm just saying that. Because Lupus here, I'm going to say his name as many times as I can during this review. Lupus here, ain't no way he's finding that many women who are that attractive to go to some rando condo that they've never been to. Unless
Who's already
he's
wearing a straw cowboy hat.
Yes.
You don't wear a straw cowboy hat unless it's the end of the night, ladies. We all know that.
He's paying everybody. Everybody getting paid that night. So Brooke can't go through with her date because her date keeps talking about Gary. So she leaves the cab, goes to Addie's house to hang out. And when she gets back home, she finds Hooker Dance Party 2006 happening in their condo. She gets pissed. She goes to her room. The next day, Riggleman then sells the condo and tells them that they have 2 weeks to move out.
And I have a quick piece of advice. If your best friend is a mom and you're going to her for advice about a grown man and she starts telling you to treat that grown man like you would a child, go to somebody else for advice. Literally anyone. Anyone. The guy walking down the street who's shaking is like talking to himself. Just be like, hey, man, let me throw out this relationship question to you. Because it's better advice than whatever the fuck mom is telling you to do.
Yep.
Don't ever treat any grown-ass person like a child when you need to have like serious time talks and working relationships out.
Absolutely.
That never, ever has worked.
So Brooke, in a last-ditch attempt to possibly save their relationship, invites Gary to a concert she had gotten tickets for months in advance before their relationship issues. Gary agrees to meet her there, but he never shows up.
It's gut-wrenching if you've ever been stood up.
Yes.
However, I'm not even commenting on like the situation here. Jennifer Aniston's acting here and just like totally losing it after the concert and not being like, yo, she was so good. She had me a little fucked up. Like I was sad for her.
Yeah.
Fuck. Like just leave her alone, Vince. What are you doing?
Don't do that, it's not good for you.
Hi, literally everybody. This isn't a gender-specific thing, but if you say you're going to be somewhere and do something, just go. Even if it's for 5 minutes. Even if you don't want to go, but you said you're going to go, either if you're not going to, call and give a heads up, or just fucking go and swallow your pride, you fucking prick. Like, if there's anything under the sun that bothers the fuck out of me, it's when somebody says they're going to do something and be somewhere, and then just bails out. I hate it. It's the worst. Obviously, situations come up where, things happen. Totally get that. But if you just don't show, the next time we see each other, there's going to be some fucking furniture moving. Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, there's going to be a physical altercation. Just don't do that. It's just a shitty thing to do to another person.
I'm fucking showing up. Calm down. I'll be
just
there.
Just saying, Core. Happens repeatedly. I'm very upset about it.
Yeah. In all honesty, about that, I'm not going to make it.
So he comes home. Brooke's crying in her room. He apologizes for missing the show. He sees how upset she is. They actually start, for the first time in this movie, to have a serious conversation here. And Brooke cuts it short and says, I can't, get the fuck out. For real, get the fuck out. And Vince Vaughn just dips.
Gary, I don't want to be near you right now. Please, just shut the door.
I like this scene because this is the first time where Vince has totally dropped all of it when he sees like he's actually hurt her. It's not screaming, it's not yelling, it's not threats, it's not action, like all these weird little petty things. It's like, oh shit, I actually fucked her up. Yeah. And that's so not like all of the shit he wanted to do, I don't think he really wanted to see her looking like that.
No. Everything here for the first time from both sides towards each other was the first time that they were both being 100% sincere in that moment.
Yes.
And they both do a really good job.
Oh, so good.
So, yeah, I don't think there's anything else to be said about that. They just crushed this whole scene together.
No, it's devastating. Like, if you've ever been through a breakup, that's what it looks like. You're just done. Another
great scene is the next scene, because Gary goes to see Johnny O, and Johnny bluntly points out the fact that Gary has always had his guard up. He's always the jokester. He's super selfish. And that basically Brooke never stood a chance.
Yo, that is the line of this fucking scene. When he looks at her, he looks at Vince Vaughn and he just says, "A poor girl never stood a chance, man."
And no matter what she did and how hard she tried, you were never going to let your guard down. That poor girl never stood a chance.
He is ride or die this whole time.
Yeah.
And I hope to God all of you out there have a friend like that will just be like, "Look, man, I fucking love you for who you are, but I also know who you are. Why don't you?" You know what I mean? We all know who you are. How do you not know it?
You and I have had that discussion about being brutally honest. And there's a way to be brutally honest without being a dick.
Yes.
And this scene is exactly that.
Yes.
He's being brutally honest, and it's like, hey, all jokes aside, when's the last time we went to a Sox game where the Cubs weren't playing? When's the last time we did something that I wanted to do versus you? Like, have you not noticed this? Have you not seen this? Like, it's all the comedy, all the bullshit is all stripped away, and it's awesome.
You're right again.
When your friend gets super fucking honest with you like this, you hear it differently.
Yep.
Than you would from a partner. And that is what is so brilliant about this, because he doesn't raise his voice. He's not being mean, like you said. He's not calling him names. He's just pointing out the facts.
Brooke then goes to her job, quits her job, tells Marilyn that she's going to travel Europe just to get away. Brooke then comes home to the condo with Tom Brady again one night to show him some art pieces she's selling. Gary thinks it's a date. Gary has obviously made her a very nice dinner, and he lays out his heart on a platter basically here and promises to appreciate her more. And he goes into his like little monologue to her about how he's going to be better and he didn't mean to hurt her and all of that stuff. This scene's great too.
Oh yeah, this is another gut-wrenching scene, because now it's Vince's turn to just get the shit kicked out of him.
Yep.
And how I think this is a really good example too of how really you should act when you've had your heart taken out. You know what I mean? He doesn't raise his voice again. He doesn't get shitty with her. He's done. He's defeated. He knows it's over. And he's doing the best thing, which is just to walk away. There's no need to cause a scene or, you know, go out there and fight Tom Brady, because that's going to be a thing you can do. It's just going to be, you know, like, okay, it's done. I threw out my last shot and I missed.
Yeah, and the whole Brooke's response.
I don't feel the same way. I don't know. I don't think I have anything left.
It's such a brutal line, and she delivers it so well.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and then he's like, all right, like you said, I took my shot. I'm out. Peace out, Tom Brady.
Yep. Time to go have a jerk and a cry and call it a night.
That's
Start over in the morning.
They finally move out. Gary and Brooke say their final goodbyes. Cut to a while later. Gary's doing a tour on a boat now because his company has a boat. And then we also see Brooke around wintertime after she's back from her travels. They cross paths again while walking down the street in downtown Chicago. And after they spend some time catching up, they part ways, but they each glance back over their shoulders as they walk away and share a smile. End of movie, roll credits.
Now, this is the one part of this movie. It is one scene that keeps this for me from being 5 stars, 2 thumbs, hip hip hooray, whatever the fuck people say. I don't know how you rate things anymore. But this one last scene is what kills me. So they get together, they have their conversation. He's much more attentive. Like, I see you cut your hair. And she, oh yeah, she notices that he notices that. They have a nice conversation. She congratulates him on growing the business like you should do. And then they go their separate ways. There's no need for them to look back, because here's why. The look back universally implies that they are going to get back together. There is interest there enough to start exploring it. And it's not like it's hard to find each other. You both have the same mutual friends, et cetera, et cetera. So, in the real world, in no way are those two people getting back together after they put their friends and family, not even them, their friends and family through all of that shit.
Dude,
they will constantly be reminded of it. And the first time Vince Vaughn gets lazy, she's going to bring it up. The first time Vince Vaughn has to drag something out of her that she's not just being open and honest about, he's going to bring it up. This is only a setup for the breakup part 2.
Yes.
Shit gets worse. Because there's no way this is going to end like the fucking War of the Roses. Like, they're going to be both dead on the floor with a chandelier between them. That's how it ends.
I agree. Now, that's the one thing I didn't like was the look back. Mm-hmm. I like the, hey, we've both learned, we've both grown.
Yes.
Boom. And then, but we've also both moved on. Like that.
Exactly.
I loved that. I liked that. They didn't like, oh my God, hugs, kisses, and now it's a thing. So I like that. As soon as they did the over the shoulder thing, I was like, damn it. This was such a good movie. And it's not like it ruined the movie, but like you said, it prevented it from being like this, holy shit, what a great movie kind of thing. It's still a great movie.
I would have been fine if he looked back, she kept walking, he went, turned around and kept walking, and then she stopped and looked back, saw him kept walking, and then she went on her own way. Like, but we still got to go on with our lives. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm with, like, other than that scene, I love this movie. I think
it's a great movie.
Absolutely holds up.
Mm-hmm.
I caution anyone, if you are in a dysfunctional relationship, like my past, I don't know, all of them, don't watch this movie. But, if you're got all the cobwebs out, you're not being manipulated by Venom or Kim Jong-un or Vladimir Putin or whatever's going on, you don't have to watch this at all. It's not for you. But this movie it's great. It is a very dark comedy, but it's a fantastic dark comedy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I like this one beginning to end. I'm bought in. I'm there for the fucking journey. I've never, since it came out till now, I've never had I can't watch this because it's too uncomfortable. There's movies like that. But I was also like in a decent relationship for this entire time. So I've been able to watch the movie and enjoy it for what it is.
My name's Armando. I'm totally formed. I know who I am as a person and can share myself with other people.
I still have no idea who I am as a person. I'm just saying.
I'm not try and lower yourself to my level.
I'm just not in a dysfunctional relationship. I got one thing going for me. Like, that's it. Don't take that away.
Don't take that away? Fuck you. Go post shirtless for everybody in the comments, you asshole. I'm just going to sit over here by myself in my dark room watching movies.
Free the nipple. But yeah, no, I like, again, this movie's great. I think it still holds up. I have nothing but great things to say about it. If one tiny 5-second scene ruins this for anybody, like, you got bigger problems than just this movie. So other than that, I don't have anything else. I love Vince Vaughn. Jennifer Aniston is one of my favorite actresses.
Mhm.
And Jon Favreau, to the day I die, will be my guy. I love him
Oh,
in
yeah.
every movie he's in.
I would do some horrible shit for that man, and I've never met him in my life.
Goddamn right.
If you don't have anything, I don't have anything. For Corey, I'm Armando. This is Kiss the Reviews, and this was 2006's The Breakup.